Hello, I'm Diane and welcome to my channel Diane's Sewing Room. So I've been away this past week. Well, I haven't been anywhere, I've been ill, but I haven't posted a video and that's the reason why. We all sort of came down with this bug this past week, sort of sick bug. My husband started with it first the week before and then I started on the Monday evening, and within a few hours my son came home from work and he started with it too. So it's just wiped us out for a whole week. So all of my sewing plans got sort of ruined for that week. I got a little bit behind with my work, and then as soon as I was feeling better I had to catch up on my work, so got a little bit behind. So I don't know if anybody else has been suffering with it, especially here in the UK. I know a few people, I know a few friends and colleagues who've had it as well, so not nice. And it just sort of took it out of you. I mean, we are sort of all feeling really sort of tired this week. I suppose a week without eating sort of does that to you. So anyway, feeling much better now. Managed to get on with a few bits. I'm a little bit behind with my quilting project, but here's what I've been doing. So I've completely run out of all the neutral fabrics now, so I am still scrap busting. So I've used this nice sort of printed purple because I had a piece of that left. So this is the border on these ones, so I'll show you a few of those. So these are going to be interspersed with the plain background ones as well. So these are a few that I've done over the last few days while I've been feeling better, trying to catch up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay it all out when I finish doing my blocks and see what looks nice, see how they all work together. I mean, the final 6 that I will be doing is a white print with a little blue flower on and lemon. And that's going to be the background for each block. So I had a few plain and now I've got a few with a print on, but I think you can still see the design going on. You can still see the green accents and the checkerboard in the middle. So I hope that's going to all work well. And I just need to buy a piece of fabric, not very much, to border it all because I want to do a nice deep border. I have something for the backing and I have my wadding. But any tips on quilting it, because I am going to be machine quilting it, would be much appreciated, because as I said before, I'm not a quilter. That's not my usual thing. I make clothes usually, so that's how far I've got with that. I did get to make my skirt that I planned, so that was one of the first things I did when I was feeling better. So you may remember it was this one here, and I've got this skirt already and it's really comfy and I do like it. It's not lined in the pattern, but I have lined mine, and I've lined this one that I've made also. So it has pockets at the side and a deep waistband, and it's Burda 6235. So that's the skirt pattern, and I've got bits all over it now from my quilting blocks. So see if I can hold it up without the lens going crazy. So this is the skirt. It's already doing it, isn't it? I'm going to come and see if I can hold it around this side. So this is the skirt. And it's got pockets in the side here. Nice pockets. A deep waistband. It's got a zip at the back, so a central back there. And I have lined it in navy. Now, that's not a colour I would have chosen to go with it, but I am using up the gifted fabric that I've been given. So I've been given the olive corduroy and I've been given a few pieces of this lining, so that's what I've used. And I'm pleased with that. Now what I'll do is I'll insert some pictures somewhere of me wearing it so that you can get a better look. Now, something I am going to tell you what happened is, oh, you can see all the mess behind me on my desk now, look. What happened was, I've not worked with corduroy quite a lot. I've used it a few times without any mishaps. And what happened was, as I said, I'd been ill and I was eager to get on with this, and I got it all cut and everything. I went and got my piece of fabric, and instead of taking care, as I usually do with my laying out, I got my piece of fabric. It's quite a big piece. It was already folded. Big mistake. I didn't check. I lay it out, lay my piece on it, thinking, oh, I'll just crack on with this. Made up the skirt, still feeling a little bit tired and weak from being ill. sat here at my machine with the bright light. I've got an overhead light. I can't have it on when I'm filling because it flickers, but I've got an overhead light that shines down on my bench here. So I got the bright light on, made the skirt all the way through. Didn't try it because I know it fits because I've made it before. Tried it on at the end, and what had happened? It's got two front panels here. I'm going bright again now. There's two front panels in the front of the skirt, front and back. And I just laid out those pieces without checking my placement of the fabric because it was already folded. And what I'd done is I'd cut it with the nap going one way on one side and the nap going the other way on the other side. So if you've worked with cord before, you'll know what this means, is that when I put my skirt on, it looked completely different shades on both sides. So one side was a nice light olive green and the other side looked a deep rich olive green, and it was the same on the back. So I went downstairs to show it my husband. I was like, oh, look at this. And he's looking at me and he said, yes, it's two different colours. Is it supposed to be like that? No, it's not. So then I came upstairs and I had to remake it. So I had to take off the front, redo all the pocket, take off a back piece, and then while I was doing that, something had shifted. So it wasn't sitting quite right, and I was just getting more annoyed with it. So I ended up taking off the whole of the band, and bear in mind the lining was attached to it at this point as well. Silly me, making such a ridiculous rookie mistake. And I had to take all the band off. And I was just getting so annoyed that I just recut the bands as well. So I recut the waistband and the back and the facings and practically started again. So that's what I did. But it's finished. But it's one of those now. Now I've spent so much time looking at it. Am I going to think, oh, I don't like it because of what happened? I don't know. I like it at the minute. I've not worn it yet. Well, it was only sort of a few days ago. So we will see. So I will insert a picture of me wearing it, and that's the finished item anyway. So that's one thing. So as for what I'm wearing today, I'll tell you a little bit about that. This has been a work project this week, so I must fully disclose that the fabric is from Minerva. It's viscose chalet and it's called Popcorn Jelly, and this shade is ultramarine. Now I do get this fabric free. I got it free because it's part of a work project. So I do need to let you know that, but I do buy my fabrics from Minerva. That's somewhere that I buy my fabrics from, and I always did before I worked for them. So I just thought I'd get that out there and make sure that there's no misunderstanding there. So the fabric was gifted to me, and I have made this, and this is what I haven't made with this one. So it's another Burda pattern. So it's 6632, and it's this long sleeve blouse here. Now it has got buttons down the front, but it's sort of a mock thing because there's no buttonholes down the front. There is on the cuff where it fastens there, and a button at the cuff, but down the front they are just stitched straight on the band. So it's this one, version B. I'll stand up so you can see that it is a long blouse, but I've got it tucked in. So I've got it tucked in my skirt. I don't know if you can see here, it's got pleats here. It's got a band and a button and a vent there, and I'll turn around, it's got pleats at the centre back and a yoke, and it's got this double band going all the way down the front. Now it is long, so I've got it tucked in, but it does come well past the hip, and it's got a curved hemline. And then with that, I'm going to need to stand up again, aren't I? So I'm wearing it with this skirt, and this is the Delphine skirt from Love at First Stitch. Tilly and the buttons, and it's got a metal zip in the back, this particular one. And I do like this skirt, and it's quite thick. It's got bits all over me from my blocks that I've just been holding up. It's got a nice A-line shape, and this one is sort of a thick cotton canvas that I've used with this, so it does hold the shape nicely. So that's something else that I've been making this week. I've made another couple of items for work projects as well, but they're just both packed away now. So that's a little catch up from me. I do hope to be making my denim quilted jacket pretty soon. So I did want to get started on that a week ago, but then I was struck down with the dreaded bug. So I didn't get started on that other than tracing off a few bits. So my zip has arrived and a little bit of extra wadding for the inside has arrived for that, and I am using the gifted fabric again for that. So I was gifted some denim, so I intend to do it in that because I think that'll be quite nice with a sort of fancy inside lining just to brighten it up a little. So that's something I'm going to be working on for me. Let me know what you've been up to, what you've been making. I do like to read your comments. Something that I've seen this week that I thought I'd mention, and I wonder if anybody else has experienced it or bought it or heard about it also. It's Tauco magazine. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly. A few people have been sharing things on Instagram and makes and so on. Now I did have a look and I do like the idea of magazines with patterns in them. I do like a sewing magazine, but I don't very often buy them. As I've mentioned before, I did used to buy Burda, but I've sort of stopped now because I have quite a few. But if I see one that catches my eye with a few patterns in that I really like, I will buy an issue, but I don't subscribe anymore. But I was interested because I kept seeing this new one advertised in various places and thought, So I've looked and there were a few other, I think it was the fold line, it gave you a bit of a flick through. And also, as I said, a few people on Instagram have made a few things. I'm not sure the patterns are for me. Let me know what you think. I think there's quite a lot of them in there that are sort of oversized, which I know a lot of people do like that kind of look, but they just drown me because I'm quite small. So there's a lot of oversized sort of patterns in there, and maybe some of the detailing is just not quite to my liking. Maybe I'll spot something at some point and give one of the patterns a try. I don't know, but it is quite expensive unless you like quite a few of the patterns, I do feel. So I think if you're going to buy something like that, there's got to be a few patterns in there that you know that you're going to make. Have any of you made it? What do you think? Is the magazine a good read? Please let me know in the comments below. I would be really interested. I mean, maybe I'll pick one up second-hand in the future. Who knows? But anyway, that's all from me for today. I hope you've enjoyed this little catch-up, and I'll be back soon with some more of my makes. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.